Let's get straight to it. 2015 Dodge Durango. This is the 3.6 liter engine. Today I'll be changing the steering knuckle. This is what your part should look like. And this one comes with a lower ball joint installed. And we are doing the driver's side, so make sure that it says an L right there for the left side. Right under the back seat, once you get this little cover moved from right here. Now this is the passenger seat. You can see, so there goes the battery. Let's disconnect this negative battery terminal right here. So I have my car raised in the air and I have my jack stand in place. So I'm using this beam that runs to the front to the back right there. So this part is important. If you're using the impact like I am, then this doesn't really matter. But if you're not using the impact, let's say you're using a breaker bar or a four-way, then it's not a good idea to raise your vehicle in the air yet. It's not gonna do a lot of spinning, but for the parking paw's sake, it's best to loosen these lugs while it's on the ground a little bit. And then once they're a little bit loose, then you can raise the vehicle all the way up and finish getting these lugs off then. That's just better for the parking paw's sake in the transmission. So these are 22 millimeters. So now that the tire is off, we can see everything that we need to do. So of course we have the top right here, that's right there. Then we have the tire rod, that's right here. That is of course right there. And the lower ball joint, we're gonna have to get that off, and that is right there. The brake caliper bracket, we're gonna have to get that off. Of course, that is right here. And then the wheel bearings, we're gonna have to get those out. And that is this part right here once we get the rotor off. So we're gonna have to start with the brakes. Let's see what this is back here. So these are 21 millimeters. Let's go ahead and get this one off and the one down there as well. So once those bolts are off, we can remove this whole caliper bracket with the caliper together as one piece. All right, so I got the whole caliper bracket and brake pads up in one piece, and I used a hook to hang it right up here, and it goes all the way down so it's safe and secure, and that's out of the way now. So even though it's loose, there's still another step. So there's an O-ring here, a little O-ring that you want to get a pick. You don't want to damage it unless you have a replacement for it. And our kit didn't come with the replacement, so we're gonna try to get this off in one piece. Now this only job of this is to keep this rotor on while you're installing this. It does the same thing as the screws that normally comes in here. It's really redundant. It's not necessary. So if you lose the O-ring or it's damaged, don't worry about it. There's no reason to put it back on unless you have a hard time holding this up here. Because once the tire goes on and everything's tightened down, that O-ring is nothing. So if you lose it or it's not even there, don't worry about it. So now we're gonna go ahead and get our rotor off. Now if the rotor doesn't come off easy, this is coming off pretty easy. Well, I was gonna show you what you can do is you get a hammer and you can hit it on the sides here, all around, to shake it up to loosen it. And you can even hit it a couple of times on the flat surface to loosen it as well. If you're replacing the rotor, then it doesn't matter, so you can hit it in the back if you're getting ready to replace it. Just make sure you don't hit the shield that's back there. You have to hit in the open spot that's made for the caliper. So this axle nut right here is a 32 millimeter. I'm going to use my impact to get this off. You can use a breaker bar because this will stop spinning eventually. and you'll be able to get that off. If you want to get it off with the least resistance, it's best to get this off while the brakes are still attached and have somebody hold the brakes while they're in the car. But you can definitely get this off without that. But I'm going to go ahead and use the impact and get this off. Simple as that. Okay, so in the back here, you can see this is the wheel bearing right here. So in the back of the steering knuckle, there are 3 bolts to remove that wheel bearing. There's this one, the one right here, and then there's one on this side right there. So they're not that hard to remove. You have space to get these out, unlike some other vehicles. And these look to be 14 millimeters. So let's go ahead and get those out. Okay, we got all 3 of those bolts out. I'm gonna just use a punch and hammer and just get this broken free. I'm not trying to push it all the way through. I just want to get it broken loose to where I see it's loose, and then I'll start to hammer away at this old wheel bearing. Okay, so I got it to move back some, so now the wheel bearing should be free to bust off of here. So the hard part is I'm going to have to hammer this out. You can see where it's sealed right there. As I hammer this, it's going to start to break free some. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hammer on top, then down low, then from the sides. And I'm just going to come from behind like this, and then at the top I'm going to come like that, try to get it. So right now hitting it at an angle, and from over here same thing, and underneath the same thing. So I'll be able to get my best swing from right here where this cover isn't. So I'm gonna start from here just to get it going. It gets the top. Now the sides. And I'm just gonna keep doing this. I'm going to the bottom 2. I'm gonna keep doing this till I can get this thing out. All right, so there's 2 ways to get this off. If you're reusing this, then we have to get it off carefully with a slide hammer. If you're replacing this, then there's no worry about getting this off with a slide hammer. You can just pull this out. You can just knock this out with a hammer from the sides if you're replacing this. But if you're not, I just want to show you the steps to take. So I'm replacing this. You should also replace this. Just in case you decide you want to reuse your wheel bearing, I want to show you how to get it off without damaging it too much. Now this way you can still damage it because you can still pull this apart, but if that ends up happening, that means the wheel bearing was either bad anyways or getting ready to go bad, or it was so stuck in here that it was probably time for it to be changed anyway. So if it comes apart, then it comes apart, but if not, I mean, this is the best way to get this thing off either way you put it. So you can rent a slide hammer from the auto store, and you can also rent a puller from the auto store as well. So I'm going to use this and get this out. I'm going to spray a little penetrating oil or fluid down in here. Let that sit for about a good 20 minutes or so. All right, so we got it out. All right, so this is what we have now. So now that the wheel bearing is out, you have this wheel speed sensor to remove. That's a 10 millimeter bolt. Let's get that bolt out and we can get that sensor out. And now that the wheel bearing is out, if this sensor is hard to remove, you can kind of use your hand on this side to push while you use your other hand to twist and pull on this side to get this out. So just as I thought, this was kind of hard to remove. So what I did was I just kind of tapped on the sides here to kind of get it to move that way. Then I got it to move back that way. And after wiggling it a little bit, I went from underneath here and I put something soft against it and I kind of tapped on the back of it, and immediately it started to back out. And after that, I got a flathead underneath right here and pry it up the rest of the way. And that's how I got this out. So this is a good chance to change this as well. But we're gonna continue on with the spindle job. So the only thing holding this steering knuckle on now is this lower ball joint here, this tie rod, and that upper control arm there. I'm gonna get everything off but the lower ball joint. So I'm gonna get the tie rod off first. So that is a 21 millimeter. Let's see what we got. All right, came right off. And since we're reusing this tie rod, I'm gonna save it. So I'm gonna hit on the side of this. And just like that, it came out. Now, if it didn't come out by itself, after smacking it about a good 10 times, I was gonna get a punch and put it on top of here and try to knock that out from the top. But it's always good to smack this first and loosen it up, because otherwise it can be stuck for a long time. So now that we got that out, let's go ahead and get this off. And this is also a 21 millimeter. All right, so I'm gonna smack on the side of here a bunch of times and see what happens with that. And that gave. So now the only thing holding this on is this lower ball joint down here. So let's get this little tab off here. Just pull this out with a flathead or body panel clip tool. That's just a little tab that pushes into there. Let's remove that. Okay, so now we can turn this to where we can get the CV axle right out of there and just let it hang on that lower control arm. And now we have full access. And yeah, so also don't forget to take this off and set it somewhere, because we gotta put this back on too. So we got full access to this bolt now. So this one here is a 24 millimeter. So let's go ahead and get that off. That's the last connection for this. And since we're replacing this, plus it has a new ball joint, we can hit on this with the hammer some, but we can also beat on the top with no problem, because there's no point of saving that. But let's go ahead and get that off with a 24 millimeter. So as I expected, it's spinning a little bit. So I'm going to have to get a T40 hex bit and put it in there to hold it, while I get a regular wrench and put it outside of here and turn it. You can also use a ratchet wrench to turn this while you put your T40 inside there to hold it. But it's spinning right now, so that's the only way to get this off. All right, so now that nut is off, see I'm lucky, mine's is loose. But if yours isn't, you just bang on this right here, bang on the sides till it loosens up, and then you can bang on the top of here to get that out, since we're replacing this anyways. So now that this is out, simple, let's go ahead and start getting our new one on. Okay, so all I did so far was I put this up here and I put this nut right here back on. So it's very simple, and it's holding itself up here now. And yes, I did tighten it all the way down, so I had to hold that again with the T40 and use a wrench to tighten that down. If you're using the impact, you might not have to do that. All right, so let's get this piece here on here. All right, so we got this piece here back on, and now we can just lift this and drop it right in there, and just like that. And so now that the CV is in place, we can put this top piece in now. So let's just line this up and pull this down to meet it. All right, so I'm able to get a crowbar in here between the spring and the top of this, and I'm able to use that to get leverage and bring this down, and I can get that bolt on there, and the bolt will be able to get this all the way up. All right, so I got the nut on. Now I just have to get it all the way up. All right, so that's a success. We have the top and the bottom end. So now we just have to drop the tie rod right back in place. And let's get the nut back on top of that now. All right, so that is on there now. Okay, so let's get this back in, the speed sensor, and put that 10mm bolt to hold that. Okay, now, so as far as the backing plate, you see these two recessed areas here? You want them to be at 10 o'clock and 2 o'clock. So you see where this fits right in there with the speed sensor, and this one here is just there because you can put this shield on either side. So if you were to put this shield on the passenger side, then this spot would be used. But since this is on the driver's side, this spot's used. So like I said, you want these to be at 2 o'clock and 10 o'clock. And now the speed sensor is in, and that backing plate is good. So once this lines up with the wheel bearing, everything will be fine. So don't worry about this little slop you have right here. While holding this with one hand, use your other hand and guide your wheel bearing up here and get it around these splines on this CV axle, and then just push it right in there. Okay, so now we can go behind here and line up this little small bracket. Once we line up the bolts with this small shield here, then we'll push it through the knuckle, through the bigger shield, and then into the wheel bearing. So we're going to do the same thing for all three holes on the wheel bearing. So like I said, line everything up and get these three bolts in. All right, so there it is. We have the shield back on and that backing shield on as well. We have all three bolts in, and of course we have our new wheel bearing on. All right, let's get this axle nut on here. So remember, if you're not using an impact, you can get this brake caliper and the brakes back on with the rotors and everything, and you'll be able to hold the brakes down, and then this won't spin at all. All right, let's get this rotor back on. Now I'm gonna put this back on to hold it just because I have it. Like I said, if you don't have it, don't worry about it. But I'm gonna put this back on here now. All right, so that's holding this in place and keeping it from slipping back off. Now I can get this whole entire caliper bracket back on. So it's these two 22mm that go in the back of here. So let's get that back on. All right, so the caliper bracket and the caliper is back on. So that is pretty much it. That is it. So that's pretty much it. So the steering knuckle and the wheel bearing is changed.